There are two big complaints I hear from students and trainees fairly often. The first is that their preceptor or trainers are inconsistent between each other. One trainer says one thing and another says exactly the opposite. The other complaint is that trainers are just plumb mean. They seem to be trying to berate and belittle a student rather than to teach them. This happened to me as well until I figured out the answer. Hi everyone, this is Angry Bill for Prehospital Wisdom. I want to talk about how to cut down on those kinds of frustrations. When I started at Denver Health, a part of the New Hire Academy was a day spent running scenarios at the SWAT team's training house. The house is a building that is made up to look like an apartment complex inside an old aircraft hangar. The scenarios were fairly realistic. Were set up to give specific lessons that were important before your first day on the street. All in all, it was a pretty fun day. We no longer do it, but I was lucky enough to take part back then. One of the scenarios was a narcotic overdose. My buddy from a previous job, Greg, was a pretend victim, and another medic was pretending to be a friend of the victim who was mostly getting in the way. Long story short, pushed 0.5 milligram of pretend Narcan. The preceptor said nothing happened. Another 0.5 milligram, nothing happened. Another 0.5 milligram. Okay, Greg, get him. Oh, damn. The words, not words that you want to hear. Random bystander, medic guy, ganged up to throw a whooping into me. Still have a faint scar on my arm. The lesson from the scenario was to be able to make the right decision as to where to initiate treatment. It was lion cage theory. A lion tamer never enters the lion's cage where the cats eat and sleep. The lion feels comfortable there and will eat the trainer. Instead, the tamer moves to the lions to less familiar surroundings in the ring where the trainer's at home and more comfortable. The lions are less comfortable there and will perform the act that they're trained to do. Wake up potentially combative patients in your ring, not their cage. A week or two later, when I was on the street working with a field trainer, I ran a narcotic overdose in an apartment. I know, move him to the ambulance and wake him up. It may have been the first thing on a call that I thought I knew the answer to. After I voiced my move to the ambulance plan, my field trainer said disgustedly, "What's the matter with you? Wake him up here. Why would we move him to the bus?" So I administered Narcan and woke the patient up in the apartment. Apparently the trainers in the academy were not in touch with the real way paramedicine was done. Do you see how someone can see inconsistency between the academy and that call? The next narcotic overdose was a few weeks later. When I asked for an IV line and Narcan, my field trainer was flabbergasted. "Are you crazy? Move him to the bus and wake him up there." Well, now I don't even know what's going on. One trainer says one thing, the next trainer says the opposite. The third narcotic overdose was in the bathroom of a convenience store. The unconscious patient still had a burnt spoon in his hand and a needle in his arm. At this point, I had no idea where I was supposed to wake up junkies. I did a mental coin flip and it apparently landed on its edge. I split the difference. Let me bag him up. I'll get the line here and give him the Narcan in the bus. My field trainer blew my mind. "Why would you go through all that work? Just mainline the Narcan." "Mainline it?" I said. He said, "It's Narcan. It works IV, sub-Q, IM, whatever. Blown mainline IV is just IM, right? Give it to him, wake him up." "Whatever you do, don't do this. We have other, safer ways to administer medications." This was a long, long time ago. As a matter of fact, on this call, I pulled the Narcan needle out of the heroin addict's vein and accidentally stuck it directly into a firefighter's leg. You can't do that with the intranasal atomizer. Trust me, you don't want to look down at the needle swinging from where it's buried in a thigh, look up to make horrified eye contact with an enraged firefighter, then have to make the etiquette decision as to who should pull it out. That's one Ms. Manners has never had to answer. If that firefighter's watching, dude, I am still really, really sorry. See what I mean? Inconsistency between field trainers and an apparent ability to make me feel small and stupid. And now a firefighter was stuck by a dirty junkie needle. What I eventually figured out is that I was too unsophisticated to see what was obvious to experienced medics. On the first street narcotic call, the patient was in a 6-story walk-up apartment. My trainer wanted me to wake him up and let him walk down rather than us carry him while he wasn't breathing. It's hard to bag someone being manhandled on stairs. The second scene was unsafe, like the scenario house. There were bystanders who would be likely to jump in on the patient's behalf. And the third call, I have no idea why you would mainline Narcan. It would be best if trainers and instructors could explain what the trainee is missing clearly without being asked, but sometimes they don't. The answer to this problem is the ability to ask why. It has to be done in a collegial, non-argumentative way. However, I have found that the best way is to compliment the trainer. It seems to me that your experience has given you clues that I don't have. What influenced you to make that decision? You could even explain flat out what you're doing. I don't understand. When I ask this, I'm only trying to get the information so I can make the right decision later. I mean, no disrespect. Why did you decide to do it like that? Usually the answer will enlighten you. That's what you're being trained for, right? In rare cases, the trainer will give you a flat wrong answer, like mainlining Narcan. But at least you know now that how he or she came to that decision. Sometimes you'll get two contrary answers and have to research which answer is right. Researching conflicting answers is important. Research can mean asking people with more education than you, like your medical director, reviewing literature, just thinking through the pathophysiology. It's your practice. You'll have to make the choice when the situation repeats itself. You will own that choice. Your trainer won't know all of the background you've been through. You have to do what you think is right. Wouldn't you rather get in trouble for doing the right thing rather than some guess as to what your trainer would want? Do what you would be proud to defend. One way or the other, it's important to ask why and get the information. You're responsible for the choices that are made on a call. So it's important to understand the factors that influence that decision. There are no easy answers in EMS. Everything's a gray area. How can you expect yourself to operate in the gray area if you don't even know that other influencing factors exist? This is Angry Bill for Prehospital Wisdom. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the channel with people you think might get something out of videos like this. Stay safe until next time.